And separately, sir, I wanted to ask you about what some people are calling your best week ever last week. You had 2 Supreme Court decisions supportive of the Affordable Care Act and of gay rights. You also delivered a speech down in Charleston that was pretty warmly received. It seems that you've built up some political capital for the remaining months of your presidency. I'm curious how you want to use it. What hard things do you want to tackle at this point?
In terms of my best week, now my best week, I will tell you, was marrying Michelle. That was a really good week. Malia and Sasha being born, excellent weeks.
Good you remember those.
Yeah. There was a game where I scored 27 points. That was a pretty good week. I've had some good weeks in my life, I will tell you, and I'm blessed to have had those. I think last week was gratifying because, number one, we were able to get a package of trade legislation that I believe will serve the American people, American workers, and American businesses well going into the future. It gives us the opportunity to negotiate high standards agreements that have enforceable labor and environmental provisions. It was a tough fight because, you know, there were a lot of folks in my own party who viewed this as accelerating some of the damaging or frightening trends around globalization that have taken place over the last several decades. My argument to them has consistently been that we're not going to stop globalization. We have to shape it in a way that helps people, and that these are tools that are going to help us do that. But being able to get that done was very important. The Affordable Care Act, as I said before, the results, I think, speak for themselves. We have the lowest uninsured rate that we have since we started keeping records. It's worked better, cost less than even supporters anticipated. And if we can get some governors that have been holding out and resisting expanding Medicaid, primarily for political reasons, to think about what they can do for their citizens who don't have health insurance, but could get it very easily if state governments acted, then we could see even more improvement over time. You know, my remarks at Charleston were heartfelt. It wasn't a celebration. It was, I think, a reflection on the consistent challenge of race in this country and how we can find a path towards a better way. And I was gratified to see not only the incredible response of the families who have been affected by this tragedy, but by the response of people like Governor Haley in how they viewed the issue of the Confederate flag. As I said on Friday, I think it doesn't solve all our problems, but what it does is signify a sense of empathy and recognition that I think is always the start of progress. So in many ways, last week was simply a culmination of a lot of work that we've been doing since I came into office. How am I going to spend whatever political capital that I've built up? You know, the list is long, and my instructions to my team and my instructions to myself have always been that we are going to squeeze every last ounce of progress that we can make when I have the privilege of, as long as I have the privilege of holding this office. We announced overtime rules that I'm going to be talking about more this week. That's going to give a raise to 5 million people, potentially, in this country who really deserve it. I want to see if we can get bipartisan work done with Congress around rebuilding our infrastructure. Brazil just talked about their rebuilding of highways and roads and ports and bridges, you know what? We got the same work to do, and we need to put people back to work there. I am really interested in the possibilities, the prospect of bipartisan legislation around the criminal justice system, something that I think directly speaks to some of the themes I mentioned on Friday. And we've seen some really interesting leadership from some unlikely Republican legislators, very sincerely concerned about making progress there. I want to keep on making progress on job training and making sure that the idea of 2 years of free community college starts taking root. Man, the list is long. And what we're going to do is just keep on hammering our way at all the issues that I think are going to have an impact on the American people. Some of them will be left undone, but we're going to try to make progress on every single one of them. And I've always said, one of the things I've learned in this presidency is that there are going to be ups and there are going to be downs. But as long as my focus and my team's focus is on what is going to make a difference in the lives of ordinary Americans, are we going to give them more opportunity so that if they work hard, they can get ahead? Are we going to make this a more inclusive economy, a more inclusive society, a more fair, just society? If that's our North Star, and we keep on tacking in that direction, we're going to make progress. And yeah, I feel pretty excited about it. So I might see if we can make next week even better.
Another press conference.
I love press conferences. It's my press team that's always holding me back. I want to talk to you guys every day. Sorry, Josh.